Hey guys, wanted to make a follow-up video. It's been about a month in since we've collected the Cybertruck, so I have made a video giving sort of first impressions. Now I want to give you a little more update since we had a little more time to spend with the truck. So the first thing I will say is that we kind of love this thing more than we thought we would. It's going back to the whole idea of how well built this car is. It's a huge departure from the other Teslas that are made. I would say that when I picked up this Cybertruck in the showroom, they had the newer Model 3, the refreshed Highland update, and even that was already a step up in quality compared to the previous Model 3. So Tesla has definitely upped the game in terms of quality, but I just can't reiterate enough how much more so the Cybertruck is above all the other ones. You can argue a lot of it starts from the material, right? The stainless steel as compared to aluminum. It has a more solid feel, but just even within the cabin space in itself has held up extremely well. Now, granted, it's only been a month, so you would expect it to, but again, the quality of everything has been on par with the best, right? So in terms of functionality, everything works perfectly fine, just like any other Tesla or any other car for that matter. I will say that one of the it wasn't a gripe, but it was just something worth mentioning, was the steering wheel in my first video, and that is because you don't have a traditional circular steering wheel. Sometimes you don't know where to rest your hands with this one. I tend to have my hand rested at the 12 o'clock position in most cars. Someone made a comment, Michael, I think you and I share the same driving style in that we typically have our hands at the 12 o'clock position. I've since then really gotten used to keeping my hands at about the 10 o'clock. There's a bit of an angle here, and it just became super comfortable to grip for me. I can also rest my elbow right on the windowsill right here, so I think I found my comfortable position, and it just adds to the experience overall. Now, in terms of the drivability of this thing, I think it's even worth mentioning that as a daily, it's such an easy car to maneuver. We were just driving around, making U-turns here and there, just to kind of get a feel as to how incredible the U-turn radius is on this car, and it's better than most cars. It turns in a tighter circle. So if that is sort of the challenge of your daily driving, is having to make U-turns in certain areas, this thing passes with flying colors. Now, one of the things I think I see a lot of people criticize is that they say that this is not a real truck. I think there's a lot of people that work out in the field that look for something more traditional. When you're talking about a gas-powered car, you're looking at a Ford F-150 or Chevy and the Silverados. But I think maybe this Cybertruck is a little bit misunderstood. I think this is actually, or should be, looked through more as a lifestyle truck. It's not something that I would imagine, now that I'm owning this, that someone who works in, say, for example, the construction industry, or has to do any kind of heavy duty lifting, so to speak, I don't think this is a truck for them. Now, granted, if you want to say that it's a truck used for business, I would say that it's a fantastic billboard. If you wanted to wrap a truck with your company's ID or company logo to attract attention, then it certainly can be used in that way for marketing. But I just don't imagine seeing something like this at a construction site. Although if you're the owner of the company, and you want to drive something a little more unique to the work site, I can see you driving this. But in terms of the day-to-day worker, I just don't see it. I mean, it's a premium truck at this point. If you're spending, for the Founder series or the Foundation series, you know, you're looking at spending over $100,000 as of this current date. Now, obviously, that run is going to end, and then the regular production will start. Now, the regular production starts assuming that you know, prices are reflective of what was normally advertised, and I think that means 79,000 and change for the dual motor, and was it 98 or 99 for the Cyber Beast? You know, the dual motor might start to make some sense for more people. I think there's probably a longer waiting line there to use in more applications, right? Being that it is as expensive as it is right now, maybe that's hinders some people from using it for heavy truck duties where, you know, maybe the car would go through some more abuse. But I think when they start doing the single motor, and I think from memory, I think that's, was it 59 or 69? I can't remember what it was, but that's the cheapest version. Maybe then people would start using it in more, I don't want to say abuse, but environments where the car will be pushed more to its limits, right? So maybe we'll see more of that then when the cheaper cars come out. But for now, I still view this as a lifestyle truck. It's kind of like Apple with the iPhone. So they released the iPhone, and then they create sort of a world around it. What do I mean by that? Well, you know, with the iPhone then comes the AirPod, right? And then you have all these cases. You just have all these new attachments that sort of expand the original product. And I think that's how the Cybertruck will be approached. Given that they've already have a tent, I think that sort of sets the tone as to what to maybe expect for the future of the Cybertruck and its accessories. Now, if you go look at the Tesla store for the Cybertruck, there's only a few things that are available right now, but I think there's going to be a lot more, both from Tesla and third parties. And I think, you know, that's probably the better way to interpret what the Cybertruck is. You know, I don't own a Rivian, although the refresh update has certainly caught my eye. Could that join the family at some point in the future? I certainly think so. But going back to when they released the Rivian, so the truck version, the R1T, you know, that wasn't compared to the Ford Lightning or the Chevy Silverado or any of the gas-powered trucks. I think that truck was kind of held to the light of a lifestyle truck as well. So, you know, I don't remember, I could be wrong, it's been a while, but I don't remember people making a big point about it towing or doing any kind of heavy duty work. Granted, it's more of a mid-sized truck, I guess you could say. But the point being that it was held to a different standard, I feel, by media and by the wider audience. And I don't know why they did so with the approach to the Cybertruck. It's almost kind of unfair, right? Because in some ways, I'm wondering if they're comparing the Cybertruck to your standard truck because they're looking for ways to kind of tear it down. You know, maybe there's an agenda there. I don't know, but that's where I kind of find it questionable, because I don't know if the Rivian was given the same scrutiny when it was first released. Now, I personally look at the Rivian as more of a lifestyle truck, but are people holding the Rivian to the same standard? Are they suggesting that they're expect to see Rivians at work sites? Because I can tell you, I don't really see them at work sites. I mean, just at your casual glance of going past construction sites, I don't see a Rivian driven by the foreman or anybody, and I just don't see them on sites. You still see your traditional 4 150s and Chevys, but you don't see the EV trucks. in that kind of application. So again, I'm just saying, I think the Cybertruck needs to be looked through that lens, right? You know, whether or not those same customers that need it for those type of work environments would get behind one, test drive one, and fall in love with one and want one, I mean, that's certainly possible. But I just don't see the workforce go out and replace their F-150s with a Cybertruck. It's just a different crowd, a different target audience, I think, for now. But I do think that there's going to be a lot of interesting accessories that will continue to kind of push this into a different space. You know, I don't pretend to have the brains to come up with these interesting ideas, but you know, again, they already have a tent that is made by Tesla. I think there's a couple companies out there, one that's going to be making sort of a bed attachment that creates sort of a camper style environment that has more of a kitchen to it, a restroom to it, obviously a bed. So you know, you're starting to see a lot of that kind of thinking of products that are coming to market. You know, the other thing that I think the sort of talk of current topic which relates to the Cybertruck has been the Foundation Series nomenclature. Everybody knows that with that comes sort of a premium that you pay to have gotten your car sooner than later. And there's been some arguments as to whether or not that's a smart thing to do. You know, to me, it's a very personal decision to make. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. You know, feel free to have your opinion, but I don't think it's a black and white kind of yes or no. I think it's just what you feel is right for you. You know, I think everybody who purchased the first batch of Cybertrucks know that they're paying a premium. And in some ways you can say, hey, you know, perhaps you're a reservation holder, or you're maybe just a critique, having a critique of Tesla, and are to say that, hey, look, not only are you 4 or 5 years late to the market, you fell a little short on your promise, that being what, the 500-mile range, I think it is, right? Or you know, you're not even sticking to your price. Okay, that's, you know, I think there's fair feedback on that. But I think everybody who decided yes to buying one made their own decision, and they knew what they were getting. So I just don't think, again, you know, although you have your rights to your opinion, I don't think, you know, it's a right or wrong thing to say that person made a mistake to buy the Foundation Series. Now, keeping in mind that with the Foundation Series, yes, there are some freebies in there. I mean, I don't want to say freebies, right? Because ultimately there's a value to them. So, for example, with the dual motor that I purchased, it comes with these all-weather floor mats, which are really nice. It comes with a tray in here in the center console. It comes with a mobile charger, the one that you can actually hook up to the Cybertruck and then hook up to another Tesla. That charger came with it. What else? It came with obviously the full self-driving, which arguably at first, when it first came to market, the Cybertruck did, that the value of the full self-driving package was about $12,000. Now since then, obviously Tesla has reduced that to about $8,000. You know, does it bother me personally? No, not so much. It's negligible for me. I would also say, what else? There's a $2,500 if you have the dual motor. I think it's actually a higher credit amount for the Cyber Beast, but there's a $2,500 Tesla credit that you can use in a couple ways. One of which is to get the power share, I think is what it's called. Correct me if I'm wrong. but it's the hardware and installation of a charging cable that feeds back to your house, so that in case of a power outage, you can use the Cybertruck to power your house. My understanding is that the batteries in the Cybertruck equate to 8 power walls, so that's a lot of energy to get you past you know, a couple hours of the electricity not being available. So you can use that $2,500 towards that, or if you don't need that application, you can use that in the Tesla store. Now, one can argue that's a lot of money to buy little things. Now, yeah, you can make that argument. I would say I don't know that there is any expiration to that $2,500 credit, but if there is not, I mean, again, this goes back to the whole lifestyle idea and what the Cybertruck team has in the future for it. So I'm looking forward to more accessories to come out, and I'm sure they got some great ideas that are just going to slowly trickle out. But again, that $2,500 can go towards, you know, purchasing something from the store. Now, the one thing I will critique about that credit is that it is a one-time use. So if you go buy something and it doesn't equate to $2,500, supposedly you lose the rest of that value. So if you bought a t-shirt for $50, then you lose $2,450. That's what I heard. I don't know what the details are. I haven't combed through the fine print. I'm hoping that's not the case, but we will have to see. So, you know, if you add up all the value of what you get, and I think you also get premium connectivity for life, meaning, you know, you don't have to pay for the cellular signal. But if you add all that up, I would say that's a little bit over $10,000 worth of value. For me, I would say out of the $2,500 credit, I would have bought everything else. I would have bought the full self-driving. I would have got the floor mats. You know, would I have bought $2,500 worth of accessories? Very possibly, because I've already bought a couple. I bought the tray storage under the rear seats, which are installed, and I also got the divider for the trunk bed, which is also installed. So I think between those two, that's already maybe 500-ish in value. But the point being that I do foresee buying more things from Tesla in the future. What I would actually suggest to Tesla too is maybe allow that $2,500 credit to go towards a new car. You know, not that I would buy one right now, but I can see where maybe that could encourage additional sales. I mean, imagine if that $2,500 credit could be applied towards I don't know what, a Model 3 or a Model Y. I think that's a good argument to make for buying another Tesla, because you have the $7,500 EV tax credit, right? That can be taken at the point of purchase. If you're allowed to add the $2,500 credit, that's a $10,000 savings right off the bat, right? And then of course they're adding lower rates. I think now for the Model Y, I'm not so sure for the other models, but the Model Y has lower lease rates or interest rates. So and that's through Tesla. So I think that also pushes the argument, or at least gives people more the incentive to further get into owning a second Tesla. So that's something I think hopefully Tesla will open their minds to. But as far as what I wanted to kind of reflect on today is, again, that I feel this is more of a lifestyle truck and not so much a work truck, right? I think once people see it through that lens, it'll be a little more digestible, and hopefully people will be less critical of it. You know, you don't have to be a fan of the Cybertruck, but I would say that if you really want to form an opinion, you should maybe try to get behind the wheel of one, and then you can really get perspective as to how cool this is, hopefully, or maybe it's just not for you. I mean, either way, it's not for everybody. We already knew that. Anyway, so far so good. No issues. You know, I think there's a lot of people who seem to have wanted to move on from the Cybertruck. I think one of the other things worth noting is just how many are for sale. Mainly because people don't really people were a little nervous about selling the Cybertruck. Tesla kind of had a sort of a informal agreement where, you know, if you took delivery of one and you sold it right away, they would come after you for some financial penalties. But that hasn't stopped people, because I think if you went on to a car sales site like an Auto Trader or cars.com, you'll find 50 some odd Cybertrucks there for sale. Well, you know, out of thousands that have been delivered now, in terms of having that little amount of Cybertrucks available, doesn't really suggest that it's a crappy product and people are trying to ditch it. I think those 50 people, which, you know, equates to less than what, 1% of total production, are just really people who wanted a quick flip of the truck and try to profit in some ways. Again, you know, you can't blame them. That's just that was their game plan from the start. So, but you know what, let's be honest, I think with any car it's always like that, right? Any kind of car that's recently or newly just released will always have people that are trying to make a quick buck. I mean, when the Rivian came out, people were flipping that. When the Hummer EV came out, people were flipping that. You know, I didn't see the same scrutiny applied to their decisions. Nobody was saying that the Hummer EV was a crap product and that's why people were reselling them. No, right? So, you know, again, I think the naysayers or the people that are critical of Tesla are just going to have that kind of mindset. You know, they're going to look for almost any negative angle to apply to a situation, and that's unfortunate, but you know, such is the way. But for now, I will just continue to say that we absolutely love the Cybertruck, and it's not going to go anywhere. We're going to get some good mileage out of this. We're going to keep this for years to come, and I'm very excited to see what the Cyber line will produce in the future. I don't think this unique futuristic design, or maybe even the use of stainless steel material, will end with the Cybertruck. I think if I had to take a quick guess, that maybe there will be an SUV in the future. That's certainly plausible. I mean, the design and the R&D to make an SUV, like a 7-seater or a 3-row SUV, is probably what, 70-80% done just from the design of this one. Anyway, that's it for now. I'll come back with more thoughts in the future. Thanks, guys.